Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
أهلا.
Salam alaikum.
صباح الخير.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
صباح
I'm
الخير
very honored
جميعا.
and happy to
أنا
have you
فخور
here
جدا لأن
again
أكون
in
معكم
the third
هنا في
edition of the
هذه
Global
القمة
AI Summit
والنسخة
powered by
الثالثة
Sedaya.
للقمة
I have
الذكاء
today with
الاصطناعي
me
والتي تقام
Shuaib
من
Al-Rahman, the
قبل
co-founder of Fairchosoft.
سدايا.
Nice to meet you, Shuaib. I have
معي هنا
Husni
شعيب
Khafash as the
ومعي
managing
هنا
director
أيضا
of
حسني شعيب
Explain.
وهو الرئيس
And I have
التنفيذي
also
لشركة
Professor
إكسبلين.
Yasser Ayaz,
ولدي
who's the
أيضا
chairman
البروفيسور
of the National Center of
رياض
AI and the professor of the
المركزية
National University of
ودكتور أيضا
in Pakistan. And
لإكسبلين
if
في
you allow me, we'll go
باكستان.
quickly
وإن سمحت
introduction
لي
of
فسوف
our
نقوم
esteemed
بمقدمة
guests,
سريعة
just to give
لضيوفنا
some
هنا
context to
لأن
our
نأخذ
audience in
معلومات ونعطي
the
أيضا
room. Start
الجمهور
with you,
بعض
Shaib.
المعلومات عن
Thank you,
النقاش التي سوف
Abdullah.
نتناقش عنه هنا اليوم.
Good morning,
نبدأ
everyone,
معك
and peace be upon you
شعيب.
all.
شكرا.
Myself, Shubur Rahman.
صباح الخير جميعا.
I am a
سعيد
technologist for
بتواجدي
last
معكم
15
هنا
years,
وأنا
working in various
تكنولوجي
domains.
منذ 15
Currently,
عاما
I am
هنا.
running my own
وأخيرا
foundation with the name of
أنا أقوم
Virtuosoft.
بقيادة مؤسستي
We are a service
وإدارتها
providing company which
ونحن
works
نقوم
in
بتوفير
big data
الخدمات
analytics, cybersecurity, AI,
للأمن
bespoke solutions, and whatnot. Our
الأمن
core focus
التقني
is
والعديد من
the
الأمور
human capital development.
التقنية.
Because the way the
لأن
technology is evolving so rapidly, we are
هذا
always worried about the supply side.
لدينا
So, as the topic is mentioned about bridging the gap, so I think I'll be able to put some input in this topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Husni?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Husni Khafash. I'm the managing director of an AI Silicon Valley based company called Explain. We are the biggest marketplace in the world for models and data for AI. We have been working in the region for 4 years as a company. Myself, I've been in this region since 1996, so all this white hair doesn't come from nothing. And we'll be more than happy to have a very interactive session to talk about democratization of AI and how no code, low code will help Saudi Arabia and all of us on this. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Husni. Riyasat?
Yeah. So my name is Dr. Yasser Ayaz. I work at the National University of Science and Technology in Pakistan. And I'm also the chairman of the National Center of Artificial Intelligence of Pakistan. So we develop several kinds of different kinds of products from healthcare, from safety and security, from education and different domains of artificial intelligence. We also deploy them in the field and we operate them, as a software as a service as well. So sitting in a developing country and working in an AI area, which is very rapidly developing and very fast progressing area, we have our own keen eye on how technology is developing and how we bridge the gap and make sure that the developing world also benefits from artificial intelligence. So thank you for putting together this very nice session.
No, thank you so much for joining us, and today we would like to discuss how we can bridge gaps and empower diverse communities and how we make sure everyone has the right and the equal balance in accessing the technologies, the AI algorithms, and making sure all the societies, the different cultures are having the same access to the technology. So because we need to have harness for a good and ensuring everyone has the access to the tools, the resources they need. And if we, as you know, we're witnessing groundbreaking solution in AI and in LLM and Gen AI that address specific needs with diverse communities, fostering inclusivity and participation in the ever evolving digitals. And as Husni said, we want to make sure also how we democratize the technologies, how we make sure that the technologies are spread across all the globe. So if you allow me, Husni, I'll start with you. How can technology be leveraged to create more inclusive societies?
That's a great question. So when we talk about inclusive, that means that everybody will be able to use that. So you can use it in many aspects or many parts of it. One of them is access to information and education. As each of one of us, before to be able to go to the top universities, you need to speak English, you need to be able to, if like to go to Harvard or Yale. So you have to have a lot of money, you have to have English, and you have to be accepted over there. Education barrier starts to be easier with technology and with AI because you have access to information. If the people, some people knows who I am back from where I'm from, I finished university. I don't speak a single word of English. I never saw computer in my life, and I don't know what's the internet. In my career, I've been the regional manager for Google, the first Google employee in MENA, and the regional manager. I led Microsoft in the region. I got acquired my first startup in Yahoo, the first acquisition ever in the Arab world on technology. And before that, we used to work together in Ernst & Young. I was a partner leading managed service and digital transformation for all over MENA. The leap of what we need to do to be able to have the inclusive in AI is to be able to be sure that it's available for everyone. That means infrastructure, devices, content, culture, and acceptance. Today, as been now leading one of the superstar AI companies globally, the biggest challenge we have today, I think, on AI is two things. How many people, let's see, how many people raise your hands if you know how to program or to make a model in AI? You know how to do it. Up, so I can count you. There is about like 15, 20 people over here. Most of the people in this conference doesn't know how to be able to program an AI model. So that means it is not democratized technology. That means when people are smart like these guys, I'm not one of them, who will be able to sit and create a model for you. I don't know. What now is, if you remember Bill Gates when he created the computer, the beginning on the computer before the Windows, it was only you have to have DOS programming. So if you don't know how to program, you cannot use the computer. This changed when Bill Gates make Windows. An operating system allows any one of us to go to the computer and use it without having the background. Today in AI, there is something and a rising things called no-code. Remember, if you want to remember two things I said today, two things: no-code, low-code, and agentification in AI. These are the only two things I would like you to remember. No-code, low-code. People like me today can in 2 minutes build a POC on AI, regardless of the language, regardless of the background, regardless of whatever you want to do. So to be able to have AI, to be able to cover as many people, you need to give the right tools, and even if they don't have the programming background, can still create and reproduce an AI models cater to them and to their business and to their community and to their needs where it is. It's not always America has to tell us what the technology we need to do. Sometimes fact sheet. MENA is the second region globally of creating LLMs in the world. First one is China. America is third. So we can produce amazing things in this region. We believe in the minds of this region and what we need to do. I think that we need certain tools to be able to leapfrog where we need to do and to achieve that.
I think, thank you, Husni. Very good point. Is really we are witnessing easiness of using the technologies. As you say, 30 years ago, it was the black screen. You have spent days and nights in programming. Now we're seeing it's more and easier. It's ChatGPT that allows you to create a code. But maybe, Dr. Yasser, it's now, I think we all agree, it's easier to use the technology. But with it comes also barriers. We see now all the models are creating from mainly two regions, the West and China. With that comes also barriers in the culture and in the language. I think both of us, our mother language is not English. So how we make sure that these our society are not left over, and they can also capitalize on this groundbreaking technologies that's happening in AI?
That's actually a very good question. And it's like while AI is intended to be used by everyone, for example, there's hardly any person in the room, I think, who would not have used AI since morning. If you've accessed your social media, if you've looked up anything on the map for directions or something, you have had your encounter with AI. But the question is how democratized or how inclusive can be the creation of AI? Right? So rather than just creating AI in certain regions, for example. So for example, if you ask ChatGPT, very popular AI model these days, its opinion about various conflicts in the Middle East, let's say about Palestine or something else, the opinion that you'll get out of it. So will it be a biased opinion for one side of the world, or will it include everybody's opinion? So how do we make sure that happens? It's like not right to assume that any country creating AI will program it deliberately on like you could say publicizing opinions that are not their own, right? So I think there's no way around that people have to get together. If we want technology to be inclusive, then we have to be on the creating end of the technology as well. And I think Saudi Arabia is already taking a lead in that too, right? So we have to be at the creating at this technology, and we can very well do it. We have, with some examples in Pakistan, for example, some of the software running for the face recognition, vehicle recognition, and a lot of lost documents identifications at the city level are being created by our center locally. In a lot of things, for example, with the large language models, a lot of efforts, and now the large action models, for instance, a lot of effort has been done in Pakistan and the other places too. But we need to pull together our resources, we need to connect together, and I think that working together is the key with which we can actually democratize and make artificial intelligence development more inclusive. That's my opinion.
Thank you so much. And maybe this is also from you, Professor Yasser, on how academic institution is seeing these barriers. But I would like also from my colleague Shuaib, from your experience in founding your company, how the founders and the venture also market play a role in reducing these barriers and accessibility of the technologies to everyone, to diverse communities, and also to people with disabilities and people with special needs that they need to access these technologies. Because as we said in the beginning, it's now everybody has to have the access. It's within all of our what we do day and night.
I think the point has already been covered, but I like to highlight a point in a very different context. So there are two types of AI users. One are consumers and one are creators. And when we talk about AI or any technology, we are very much focused on the tool itself. So my organization, what we do is we try to understand the philosophy behind the technology. How is it laid down? What is the framework behind it? Until unless we create our human capital, be it Saudi, be it China, be it Pakistan, be it somewhere else, we need to work on the philosophy of the technology, how it is laid down. For example, we do need no AI, but do we need the statistical models behind it? Do we have any knowledge for those models, how they are tweaked, how they are fine-tuned? Do we have it? Do we have it? Does anyone here who knows AI knows the statistical models behind it? Only 1, 2, 3. So we need to, as AI, when we started to, market our AI skills to the developed market, they didn't want the computer scientists to be employed there. They wanted, if you are a PhD in statistics or mathematics, so this is the foundation layer. And for the past 2 decades, at least in my country, we didn't give mathematics that much, importance. And now since it's the era of AI and everyone is looking towards that, so we need to find a balance in our thought process as well. So if it's AI, okay, it's AI, we are running after AI, without thinking of anything else, how it can be inclusive to every domains of the society. For example, if I go to a remote village in my country, I see a farmer and his his daughter says that I'm going to be an expert in AI. Look at his, household. He is not able to at times fulfill his basic needs. How can we create a society which is inclusive for all these technologies? We need to think of this human capital development first. And when we think of human capital development, there comes the role of the states and of course the collaborations that my brother just mentioned. We need to work in tandem. We need to think what our problem is at hand, right? So if you can see the supply side shortfall all across the globe. We have been working in Africa, US, in fact in Riyadh we just entered, in Pakistan. We are not able to find good talent who can, think out of the box. The thinking capability is totally missed. And of course, thanks to these chat GPTs, my youngster is not interested in learning anything. He talks to me, sir, I can do chat GPT. So why are you here then? I'll hire a peon or a tea boy and I'll ask him to use just chat GPT. Yeah. That is not going to solve the bigger problem. Yes, it's going to democratize the use of the AI, not the creation of the AI. And if we look at the developing countries, China, we can have a look at its research and development budget. I think 5 years ago when I read it was around $500 billion. And I'm a country under a 120 billion loan. Should I think of competing like this? or should I do some collaborations and think of my human society, human capacity building, which my company is already doing and successfully doing. So we take up some graduates. In fact, those who are not able to get their education, we sit with them, we try to build their thought process first. Once it's done, we do something with them for maths, and then slowly we move towards data analytics or AI and development.
Yeah.
So it has to start from the human capital as far as my context is concerned from my country.
I think Shuaib is very good point. Is we have to differentiate two type of inclusivity we are talking about. How we make sure everybody has the access to the technology. This is one part, but there is another part is how we make sure everybody has an equal right to develop these technologies. And I would like also to ask Husni, there is a dilemma always. Are governments and does the government and governance body should regulate more and be heavy on the regulation of the creation of these technology to make sure it is inclusive, or we need more an open, because this is also technologies, and then you need also creativity and innovation, and by nature it should be inclusive eventually. So, on which angle you see that, Husni?
I think that it's very important to be able to be sure the way that Shuaib looked at between the AI usage, between development and between end user. The view where I look at today, in my humble opinion, is the challenge is about the mentality of how much you are ready to try to be able to use the AI and to go to that journey. Today, if you look at it from the CTO point of view or the CEO point of view when he's trying to do an AI, what's the biggest worries? Why, if you go, how many people here are C-level in their organization? 1, 2, 3. If usually, I think that's it. So usually when you go to your C-level to ask them, I would like to be able to implement AI. My daughter is using AI, you are using AI. Why not to have AI to be part of the work? There are two problems usually the C-level thinks about. One, he said that, okay, by the way, the microphone is having a very noisy voice. So if you can arrange it, the audio.
Yes, please.
Thank you. So one of the big problem is which model I need to use that if I start with it, it will not make me cost a lot of money if I want to change it after. Every minute, there is a new model that it will come to solve a problem that you need to do in every minute. So if I say that I want to use your model, and then maybe after 5 minutes, he created another model, switching from this model to this model, usually it's costly. So model. 2, you need to do the hosting. Today, every day there is a changing of rules of hosting. Sadaya will tell you, on a premise, we need to have the hosting here. Go outside, you have Amazon, and you have Google, and you have Microsoft is telling you, we give you the best cloud hosting in the world. What would happen into that? So maybe tomorrow, maybe Huawei, maybe Google said that we are giving 50% discount. So that means you need to move your infrastructure from hosting one place to one place, and that's a very costly. So he'll say, why should I invest on that? And then there is something change, I need to rebuild it from the beginning. The third point we need to look at is about the data. How much data is available to work on this? The beauty about, if you look in the region, the top 3-4 brands made $1 billion of investment is Kareem, Aramex, Su, which became Amazon. 3 of these companies has zero innovation, zero R&D, no innovation. Copy, paste. They copy Uber, made Kareem, copy Amazon, made Su, copy UPS or DHL and make Aramex. This is the beauty about being, or one of the advantages of being not in the first line, is you see where the people are going. So you can learn where it's happening and you will make them do mistakes. The challenge with that in the AI, if you continue to wait too long, you'll be irrelevant.
Exactly.
How many people has Nokia phone in this room? How many people has Kodak, BlackBerry? These companies used to be the biggest market share globally. And before 20 years, I told you I'm an old guy, if I'll ask this question, 90% of you will have Nokia. Today, 0. So sometimes waiting a lot in technology, you'll be irrelevant. Your user is driving the business, not you anymore. So my advice is now try to use technology that allows you to be able to move fast, be light on your feet. So when you want to invest, you will not be shooting your head because you did wrong investment, but also change the mentality of how we can adapt on AI, which is, as my two colleagues, yani Shuaib and Dr. Yasser, they mentioned clearly that it is an issue about how much we are ready to adapt to a new technology, as everything else. I will close with one thing: engineers are smart, but innovation doesn't come only from engineers. This is why democratization of AI usage will allow each one of you to create a great idea to do that. And this is where we go again in the beginning. Two things to remember: no code, low code, agentification. Look at how this can help you to build your model without being so worried about bringing always, please, Dr. Yasser, come help me. I don't, even ChatGPT. Go to ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT, I would like to build a model to record this session and to summarize it to English, French, and Arabic, and Urdu, and whatever it is. ChatGPT will, after 15 questions, if it will understand, it will tell you what you need to do, but it will not build it for you, which is a problem. So you tell me, and then again, I have to print it out, and I go to Shuaib or to Dr. Yasser, can you please build this for me? Now, there are new technology that you tell it what you want to do, and AI will build AI. Yeah. So that there is one of the solutions we have called Bill Esprit, which is AI can build AI. So you tell what you want in English, and then it will build for you the model without being like me, very basic guy, doesn't know how to program. I'm not a PhD holder, but I can build you an AI model with using these tools in 5 minutes.
Let me jump to the PhD holder, Professor Yasser. Also, from your perspective as the chairman of the National Center of AI, where do you see and how we balance between this dilemma? Should we govern and regulate more? Should we allow the innovators and the technology to create, and then we govern later stages?
In my opinion, and looking at how technology is evolving around the world, we have been looking at like various countries when they have put in which kind of regulations. And I think most of the, in most of the countries, you'll have documents that talk about the strategy of AI. And regulation of AI comes far later. So some countries have formalized regulations about AI, others are yet making those regulations. But if you look at the first bill, for example, about artificial intelligence that was passed in the USA, it was about how to encourage the promotion of artificial intelligence, right? So in my opinion, we have to give innovators some free hand to use AI, and the way that technology is evolving. For example, let me put something in numbers. How much percentage of the total software development of the world can actually be done by AI? Like, for example, we can ask AI to write a program for us. But for example, from a single request that we put to artificial intelligence, the best coder for that is one of the large language models called Devin, according to the research, right? So ChatGPT is there, Llama is there are some others, and then Devin is the top one, which covers about 13% of the amount of programs that you can write. The future direction in which artificial intelligence seems to be going right now, because large language models are just a doorway for machines to understand our information. Right? So previously, what large language models have changed is that, we used to be teaching machines by showing them examples, right? For example, pictures with annotated images of cars or cats or dogs for the machine to understand this is a dog or this is a cat, and by several examples they learn. Now machines using large language models can read through a book, for instance, and assimilate the knowledge in the form of tokens and how you link it together, and when you search through it you make some an essay or something like that. But is this the target that we want AI to be accomplishing? Because while we do all the physical labor, we let AI to do the intellectual work, while it should be the other way around. AI should be doing some physical labor for us as well. This is why companies like Tesla, Nvidia, and a lot of major corporations investing in AI in the world are now putting some of their money into robotics. All of them have introduced new agile humanoid kind of robots which will be doing things in the physical, because the future is not just large language models, it's also large action models where machines will be understanding what is around them, the whole scenarios, perceiving where they are, how they need to interact with people. And this is the fifth generation of the technology, the fifth industrial revolution of technology, which is human-centric artificial intelligence. That's today's era, and this is the direction in which we are actually proceeding. So in my opinion, the way that innovation, like if we see which countries in the world are leading and how they've come to lead, for example, they have come to lead by, letting innovation, go free and invent technologies, and later the regulation comes later, right? First you let people invent, you let people put things in the market, and when we do that, it's most important that we don't just look at where the world is right now. We need to look at where the world is going, right? So maybe 10 years from now, what picture of technology do we see coming, right? And based on that, base our strategy that is today. First, we need to prepare strategy documents, and then regulation comes later. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you so much. I have the organizers keep telling me that we are 10 minutes until the end of the session. I will just have one question round, and then we'll open it for a Q&A. I think we have learned through the COVID, when we shut down all the borders, that we no longer take globalization for granted. Sometimes there is a situation where nations needs to build their own capabilities, build their own muscles and technologies, so allow them to thrive and allow them also to develop. So I'll also go, now we see noticing and very, let me say, fragile world in AI development, especially in the chips. You have NVIDIA, and then you have also the Taiwan. You have US already banning the selling of the chip to China and some countries. I think 3, 4, 5 years will be in these countries developing their own chips, developing their own large language models. And there is also countries where we would like to always call developing countries, Saudi Arabia, Arab National, some part of the Europe, Pakistan, where we see ourselves in 5-10 years in this race. And open this for everybody, if you want, Shuaib or
From the
Hosni.
chips itself?
From the chips and from the development of the algorithms and the language models.
So I think there are two parts. There is the
Infrastructure and then the algorithms.
Correct. So I think the chips that America's monopoly on trying to be able to punish people in the financial system, you are out of the IBAN, we are not giving you chips, we are banning this to do that, will move companies to be able to find alternative solutions. China, 2 years ago, couldn't be able to produce one phone because America stopped allowing Taiwan people and German to be able to produce the machine for them to do that. Now they just launched 2 weeks ago a phone that bypassed whatever America is trying to do. So nations who would like to develop, and if they get banned from access technology, they will create their own technology to do that. But that's a big investment, and there is a lot of work on this. That is not an easy that let's tomorrow build a semiconductor, let's tomorrow build a new factory to be able to produce the chips to be able to compete for the AI world. It will take time, but people and countries and governments should understand that relying on one source of information, one source of supply, is a very risky position you've been in, especially if that organization or that country or that regime will use technology to be able, for political reasons, where they can punish people by using technology or not using it. Yeah. From the solutions point of view, I think that we are now in a situation that we are having an outstanding, amazing opportunity to build, looking at what's around the world in AI, but building something related to our community and nations. I have next to me 2 Pakistani gentlemen that they are coming today building in their country solution that related to them. As being here in the Middle East, I don't know a lot about the AI market in Pakistan now, or know about it, but if you ask me today about what's going in Saudi Arabia, what's going in this region, I can tell you exactly what our challenges, what our data, what we can do, what we can build on that, and that help us to be able to have a tailor-made solution that cater to the Saudis over here, or to the Emiratis, or to the Palestinians, or to the Syrian. So we'll be able to have something that can help us in our journey. Today, the barrier of entering AI development on models is not as difficult as before. So that's we have that restriction. The hardware and the chips is, I think, still a little bit
more challenging.
It's more challenging
because it takes time. It takes
it's knowledge, time, and investment.
Knowledge, time, industries, investment.
It's in billions of dollars. It's not like, give me $1 billion. It's billions of dollars to be like building something very big, as in Taiwan today, as what they do. And there is a lot of monopoly in the knowledge. The printing for the design, the printer is in Germany. The production is coming in Taiwan. and this is where geopolitics is, and you know, one of the biggest reasons in America, if China will invade Taiwan, what will happen to all of us? There is no chips for a while. How we can work with, so it's becoming not only a technology play, it's a political play, it's a military play, it's an investment play. It is that if I'm a friend with America, I will have access to technology. If not, they might block me. So there is not only technology, it comes to more than
So what is implication? Maybe Shuaib also because what's implication? We see technology nation will try to invest in their own. We know infrastructure is difficult, but in their own solutions, we see we'll have two parties. Countries will align themselves more into the west, more or to the east. How do you see this 5-10 years from now?
What we've
Shuaib
seen
or-
with, yeah, please, if you please. What we've seen, for example, with the Ukraine war recently, is that you see the world is too fragile now. For example, you attack one country, and even just the impact on the resources coming from that region to another part of the world actually impacts the economy. So the world is too fragile for major wars now. You know, it's not just us who is to be worried about availability of chips in case China invades Taiwan. It's the Chinese who also have to worry where the chips will come from. So would they like to attack Taiwan and disrupt their own economic growth where the microchips are essentially coming to them and they're vital for them as well, right? So in my opinion, AI actually is a technology that has like inclusivity built in inside it, right? For example, if we want Facebook and for it to have comprehensive information about all sorts of, regions of the world, then Facebook has to be used in all over the world. Right? If we want ChatGPT to have the information coming from everywhere in the world, then the users have to be very diverse. And this is why majority of the AI companies, many of them have put up their technology for free usage. You can name a lot of social media technologies, you can name the large language models, and they are the biggest data gathering, companies and some of the top 10 enterprises in the world. So inclusivity is by default. We don't have to be afraid of artificial intelligence. What we need to do is to align ourselves with the right, and here's another thing. As my friend just recently said
Husni.
that it's very, Husni. He just recently said that, it's billions and billions of dollars. Nobody has enough money to just, build AI just on their own and keep pushing investment. It is working together. That is the key. So for instance, when we've developed the, algorithms for, face recognition, vehicle recognition, and a lot of stuff, and developed and deployed them at city level. And they're working with, thousands of cameras in Pakistan. These are completely locally developed solutions with our own code, and even the high performance computers configured by our own team. And this we have done sitting in academia, right? Yeah. So when having done these kinds of things, you see, the thing is that maybe the cost at which we can produce software is far more, you could say, useful for the developed world if you hire a big company, let's say in the US, and get somebody there to get all those developers together to write the same code. Maybe it will be 15 times more expensive for you, right? So this is why harnessing, but if you come to the hardware, for example, we may not be equally relevant because we don't produce Blackwell, NVIDIA does, right? So it is getting the right ingredients from different places in the world, putting them together, harnessing the advantage coming from the developing countries, taking the necessary technologies that you need from the developed world, that by putting together these two, you actually arrive at solutions which can make you a game changer in the region.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Yeah, sorry.
I'll just add, I'll just take few minutes. if you
Because
allow
you
me.
have a Q&A and people, yeah.
Sorry?
We will have a Q&A, but
Okay. Any questions?
تفضل.
Before you take a question, I'll take 5
Yeah,
minutes,
yeah,
I guess, 2-3 minutes maybe. So, since I'm not a pure technologist only, I'm not a PhD, I'm trying to build my system for last 8 years. And as an organization owner, I think I have a huge responsibility than just using a technology or a tool. So I need to look at the overall society. We just talked about peace in the video. We need to think about the peace. We need to think about the harmony among different societies. So I think there is a lot of work to be done before the adoption of technology only. If you say we were talking about the developing countries for AI, do we really know that they are developed enough that we follow them? Do we have the exact statistics?
Yeah.
Or is it just a survey? We cannot just follow them because they can send a few companies can send a few videos of some brilliantly done use cases. It doesn't mean that they are developing.
True.
What is the percentage? Since we are looking into the technology more deeply, we are looking at the society and how businesses work more deeply. We are trying to develop a system that can give, that is more sustainable, that has equal opportunity for everyone, that has justice, that has harmony and peace for everyone. And once everyone is lifted up to an extent that he'll be able to, do some research, he'll have the access, and then he'll have the creativity, enough creativity, and not the mess in his mind that, okay, this guy is doing this guy is doing this, and this guy is doing this. So much information overload. We need to, regularize, as states, we need to regularize this as well. Once we implement a lot of technology, then we end up in the security issues. There was a huge attack, ransomware, all across the world, including my country. And big businesses were, waiting, where is my data? All data is lost, and the clients were cursing them. Who is responsible for this kind of an act? We need to build our capacity and regulate it in a way that all our organizations are secure for implementing these technologies. I'm directly talking as a practitioner of the technology. So we have been facing these issues. Until unless we create a system of, equal opportunity again, justice, we can have a lot of such discussions, and we can go home, take rest, and the next day we'll have the same challenge. We need to think something differently, and I think the states need to play their role. And I'm happy to work with any state in defining how my company is working for last 8 years. Very different model, a model that has equal share for the last level of its employee. And we have a very good culture, very good repeat customer rate, very good employee retention rate, and we can invest now on our employees in developing them in a way that they can not only use technology and create one as well.
I think yes, we have to see it from all angles: practitioners, academics, and I'll give a question, the lady first, and then we'll go back to you.
Hello, my name is Nova. I'm from Bangladesh, and so when you are talking about large language models, so often we train the models with large languages, and then we use our data. So what was my experience that simple sentences like, I leave it on Allah. Just a person said that in an interview. Or another one was, it was about women's empowerment, like look at this example, and still we are in this stage. And when we are using examples, especially for Muslim women, or especially from content that is not very much used, although there is a large population, we don't see very good results coming from maybe emotion detection, sentiment detection, or all the algorithms we commonly use. And what I found out was it's with the data representation, because so much data is talking about Western world. We don't have enough representation from, although there are lots of Muslim people, lots of women, but probably we don't have lots of examples used in these models. So that's what one concern I think we will have, because in countries like ours, I'm from Bangladesh, people over rely on AI. So they think it's a good thing, it's a machine, it's non-biased. People are biased, but they believe in the machines, they believe in a machine-directed way. So what do you think about that? Because there was one discussion about human-centered AI, there was discussion from a practitioner. Would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, thank you so much. Very good point. I think to go back also to the same discussion we had, and how we make sure these algorithms and tools are really trained on the data that will represent the minorities, all the different cultures and all different languages.
So I'll start
1
by a
minute,
very
please,
common
because I have
example.
to go.
I'll start by a very commonly known example. For example, when we have tried in Pakistan also to apply AI to the justice system, right? That's where discrimination is the most dangerous, right? So in the US, for example, when people started applying it to the to the justice system, it turned out we learned that from the data that was being fed to the machines, many black people were getting harsher judgments compared to the white people for the same crimes of the same nature, right? But here's the thing. AI helped us catch that bias that was already existing in the human practice because what we fed the machine was data from the human practice, right? So, like AI doesn't invent a bias. Bias in AI comes from bias already existing in the human practice, right? So, in my opinion, including AI in this kind of thing is a good thing because it tells us at least now we have statistical evidence that in our data we are biased in that way, right? So we can do something to rectify it. In my opinion, it's not a problem. If we learn about that bias existing, it tells us that in our behaviors also we have a bias, so we can try to fix it.
Yeah, thank you so much. The gentleman, can we have the mic?
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Good morning. My question forward to Dr. Yasser with relevant in CI. How to make AI product from Riyadh to worldwide?
Very nice actually. So first of all, whenever we make a model, in the beginning we have to rely on a limited set of information. For example, when it has come to developing self-driving cars for the US, in the beginning the data for self-driving came from the US, and it was in California and Nevada that they tested the vehicles running around, and gradually they expand, get the data from the rest of the world and make it global. So I think if you want to make something like that from Riyadh, it has to first start from the Saudi Arabia, then to the Arabic region, and then onwards. And the second thing is that you have to get the best talents from the world with you, right? For example, if you start making a microchip company right now, you can work on it in parallel, but you have to get, which I think Saudi Arabia is already doing, you have to get the best computer systems, based with you. You have to get the best talents for programming AI. And here's the thing, I think Riyadh has the resources, the potential, and the vision to actually get the world to work with them. So to identify the right partners to work with Riyadh to develop such kind of technology, and in my experience as the national center head in Pakistan, when we partner with someone, they more easily join hands with us. They give data to us as well. So for instance, hospital data in healthcare, many people have a problem getting data when they go to talk to us. We don't have any problem because we never always partner with them. So a good partnership model, I think, is the central key which can help Riyadh become the center of technology development, for the region and for the world.
The mic.
I'd like to add here, brother. You need to flip your question. You don't have to start with AI in developing some solution. You need to think of the problem first. What is the gap? What is the problem that you can fix using technology? Technology is just an enabler and optimization technique. You need to have that market gap analysis with you, and then it can be AI, BI, CI, whatever you want. So just flip your question. That was my humble advice. Thank you.
Thank you, Shaib. The guys keep reminding me I'm out of the time. Sorry, we will not be able to have more questions. But this is what the summit is. We are here. Well, let's keep the discussion. I think my colleagues are here. We'll be very happy to answer your questions. But the guys are keep reminding me. So thank you so much, Dr. Yasser Ayaz, the chairman of INSAI. Hosni Khafash is the MENA managing director of Explain. Shuaib Rahman is the founder of Virtuosoft. Thank you so much, all of your attendance and your questions. We'll be very happy to keep up the discussion during these 3 days. And we'll keep AI and keep all tools accessible to everybody, and make sure we represent ourselves in the technology, and make sure the technology is using our data, using our culture and language, so it results in better representation of who we are as individual, and we work with all the people having the same access to the technologies, and to be thrift in their lives and advance in the technologies that we made to the human being. So thank you so much, and please give me to my
Thank you very much.
Pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure meeting you too. Thank you.